Hey, folks, thanks for tuning in to a bit of a different time slot this time. It is Sunday, 8 p.m. here. Haven't done one on a Sunday night before. So this is new. I'm interested to see what kind of audience we pick up here for tonight. It should be good. I've been looking forward to this one. Another fan chat, getting to know your fellow Star Wars fans. Just a nice kickback chat with other Star Wars fans that are out there in the world. So I've got one coming from up in the Gold Coast in Queensland here in Australia. So he's half an hour behind. It's 7:30 p.m. He goes on Instagram by to reread it at 501FLASHHEART and JD Punisher Photography, which is his professional page. I'll put the links down there just on the scroll. And let's bring in JD.
Hey
man, what's going on? Good.
Mate, it's Sunday night. I'm keen for this chat.
Yeah, man, it'll be good. It'll be good. It should help us get through the Sunday blues.
Yeah. The impending doom of Monday-itis.
Yeah, I call it Sunday-nitis. Sunday-nitis. It's like a precursor to Monday-itis, but
yeah,
no, it's good. It's good. It's been a nice day. I don't know what it's. You guys have had a fair bit of average weather at best up there, haven't you? Or has it been all right?
I think the perfect way to put it is go home, Queensland. You're drunk.
Yep.
It's basically Melbourne weather right now. One moment it's sunny, one moment it's raining, and then it's hot, cold. Who knows? We're just going with Melbourne weather, so it works.
It's kind of what we've had down here in Adelaide too. It's just 4 seasons in a week, really. Like we haven't had much of a summer. We've probably the last 2 or 3 weeks it's been sort of kind of consistent, but within the last few months, like we're nearing up the last week of summer now, and I don't feel like we've had one. Just had some hot days, but normally get a few over 40s, and it hasn't happened this year. It's just it's bizarre.
We're usually the over 40 range, and lately it's just been low to mid 30s. But am I allowed to swear in this podcast?
Yeah, why not? Why not?
Yeah, fuck tons of humidity. It's just oh man.
I just experienced Darwin for the first time about a week and a half ago. Went and had a week up in Darwin, and I experienced that kind of humidity, and it was not pleasurable. I loved Darwin. I loved the whole thing, and I got the hang of it. But after that first day, man, I was suffering after being there for about 3 hours. It was a struggle. I was sweating buckets. I've never experienced humidity like that.
It's fun times. We breathe water in Queensland. It's fantastic.
Hey, you are on the Gold Coast, aren't you?
Yes, indeed. Yes.
Yep.
About 2 kilometers that way is Movie World, which that lovely hat you're wearing would fit right in there.
Probably would too. Yeah, I did buy this from a service station.
Yeah, so we got Movie World, Dream World, Wet and Wild. It's all like just there. So I'm central Gold Coast.
Nice and close.
Yeah.
G'day, Tim. Ricky's here. Tim's here. We've got a few people watching. Thanks for tuning in and coming and hanging out with us today, this afternoon, wherever it is you are in the world. Tim's over in California. A good friend Fallen Jedi's here as well. Thank you for coming and hanging out.
Was that Master Kenobi?
What's that?
You said hello there. Master Kenobi.
Yeah, you meant to. Sorry, I was meant to respond. General Kenobi. Oh, that was bad. That was my bad on my response there. I should have known better. So I guess just to introduce yourself a little bit, tell us a little bit about yourself and what you do. And
okay, I am oh god, where do I start? Photographer for live music. Work in specialized retail, selling truck parts as a day job. And just an all-round nerd when it comes to anything 80s. Member of the 501st Legion, which it's I'm starting to sound like, all your abbreviations, like, your TK and your TB and like all that sort of stuff. I'm starting to actually really look like a doctor with many
like a bit of an alphabet
degrees. Yeah. There's an alphabet after my name. It's like Sith Lord, Dark Side Adept, TIE Fighter, or TIE Pilot. Sorry, that's a TIE Fighter. There, that one. That.
If you could pull that costume off, you just run around just
yeah. What else is there? Shadow Guard. My lovely.
That's right. Yeah.
Sovereign Protectors. I like my Shadow Guard. That's soon to be hopefully a double Sith Lord. So I've got my Darth Revan.
Oh, nice.
That's me, but the Vader bucket's blocking it. So
yeah,
and currently working on a Darth Vader to get that up to scratch. And
nice.
Yeah, it's nice until you put it on, especially in Queensland.
I can imagine.
There'll be 3 days of the year that I can wear it. It is quite a heavy costume, so you do need a bit of strength behind you to be able to carry that costume correctly. Otherwise, you just sort of you just look like half Palpatine, half Vader, or Palpatine in a Vader suit. So
it's like Vader with a bad back.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, Vader after he hit 40.
Yeah, exactly. We're all feeling. I'm not quite there yet. I'm still a few years off 40, but I'm feeling it.
It hurts every single moment after 40 just hurts. But yeah,
how long have you been? How long have you been in the 501st for? It'd be a few years now, wouldn't it? Have to be.
This is my 10th year.
Oh wow!
It's actually 10 years in August. I'm pretty sure August was
far
September.
Out. Wow.
So yeah, the decade with the Legion. So
what's the garrison up there? Is that the redback garrison up there?
Yep, we're the redbacks. Yep. And I am the squad leader of the Longfin squad, which is the Gold Coast and surrounding areas squad. So
excellent.
Yeah, we've got our own little squad, which is great. We're sort of more like a family. I mean, as far as the 501st goes, the people that I've met throughout Australia, Japan, America, everywhere, just really good, genuine people that just want to do good and look freaking phenomenal doing it. It's sort of the family that you make for yourself, and it's just a bunch 100%. Of nerdy people that just want to talk Star Wars all the time. So I'm not seeing a problem.
Yeah, I kind of find that with any Star Wars group, with any group of Star Wars fans that can get together in person outside of Facebook comment sections, it's always just such a good, happy, fun time. Like working where I do, for those who don't know, I work in a hair salon as a hairdresser called Kessel Run Hair and Collectibles. We've got a hair salon that's decked out in Star Wars stuff, and we're all Star Wars nerds. And the three dudes I work with are, they're may as well be brothers at this point, and we attract a lot of like-minded people, and it just makes it good, and you get to have these conversations with people. And that's kind of what inspired me to start doing this recently again, is just I was having good conversations. I'm like, I want to talk to more people from like outside of the shop and outside of Adelaide and go worldwide, hopefully, which so far so good. It's been good. So
it's such a vast it's a massive melting pot of different personalities. And there's the socially awkward, which I've seen in the last 10 years. I've seen some people that were very socially awkward come out of their shell, and what else is going to get to do that than like a Star Wars costuming community? You sort of your strengths, your weaknesses, and everyone works towards helping one another, which is it's a fantastic little community that we've made within the Star Wars community. So
It's
just
just
so
it's an
enjoying.
instant connection. You know, you can meet
Yeah.
another 501st member from anywhere in the world. You can go to Germany, meet someone from the 501st, and you've automatically got that bond. Like you've got something to attach to, and start a conversation and start a friendship.
Yeah, and 9 times out of 10, like a lot of them don't really talk Star Wars, and you know, it's like it's a little sprinkle within the conversation, but it's not like the whole conversation. You just build a friendship with these people, and then you know, it just grows organically to something amazing, and you get these fantastic people from around the world that, you know, they're nerds at heart, but you know, at the end of the day, we've all got day jobs, or we've all, you know, do other things. You know, we have to have a job that actually finances the hobbies.
Exactly.
You know, collecting, like looking at your collection behind you, I'm like, yeah, I could not do that ever again.
It's hard work, and it's gone to the point where it's like I can't stop now. I don't want to, but if I wanted to, I don't think I could. It's just I don't know. More and more, I'm sort of pulling myself into gear and focusing, and you know, pulling out of other sort of collections that I sort of start, and then you know, even say I'm thinking about some other stuff because I've just picked up my first armor kit to do a Mandalorian. At the moment I'm thinking about doing Boba Fett from the Book of Boba Fett. So it's my first ever costume that I'm going to be doing with a goal for end of year, sort of November, when they have Supernova here in Adelaide. So now I'm kind of thinking, you know what, maybe I need to focus less on the non-Star Wars stuff I do collect, and then put those funds into that costume instead, and just refocus a little bit more about what's actually driving me, rather than just buying things that I like. So, but I'm sure we all have those thoughts and issues, and but
I collected quite a bit many moons ago, before children, but I collected a lot. But it's quite weird. People find out that I don't really collect Star Wars, which is strange. Like people are like, but you know, you go and get dressed up as Darth Vader, and you get dressed up as this and that, and blah blah blah. It's like, yeah, but you know, I'm not a massive fan of the Hasbro line of toys. So yeah, it's quite weird that I'm very much invested within the Star Wars lifestyle and like the fandom, but yeah, I just don't collect things. Like, I mean, you know, that was given to me. Like, there's a lot of things that people will gift to me. They're like, oh, you know, JD will like this, so you know, I'll get a TIE fighter, or you know, I'll get, you know, something like those pop vinyls, man. Everyone asks if I'm going to collect them. I'm like, no, because that's a slippery slope, and I don't really want to remortgage my house when I get addicted to that crap.
No, I've seen people. I've got a mate here in Adelaide. He goes by Adelaide Toy Collector on YouTube. He'd have in excess of 600 now, I reckon. I know he does sort of flip them around a little bit, and he'll sell some and buy some more, but he has got an incredible collection. You know, it's wall high, floor to ceiling in his living room. I haven't seen it in person, but man, just seeing photos, it's like, damn.
Yeah,
but then I sort of look around here, I'm like, how's it any different? It's really not any different. I got to go, me and the lads I work with, we got to go see a local friend of ours, his collection. So he tattoos from his toy room. So he just does, he doesn't have a tattoo store, but he tattoos in his toy room. And man, this guy's been collecting for 40 years, and my God, he got some incredible stuff, and we just didn't know where to look, didn't know where to start. And you know, you could spend days just talking to him about certain bits and pieces. It was really incredible.
Yeah, it's definitely a lifestyle choice to get into the realm of collecting, and especially like when they bring out, you know, the Black Series of toys. It seemed to be like every single time there was one release, there was a guarantee of another 4 as an addition to that. So yeah, I went through that stage of like the very first line of Black Series, where I was collecting, the TK and all that sort of stuff, like the original trilogy stuff, because that's where the heart lies, really.
Yeah.
So I was collecting all of that sort of stuff, and I got to the point where I was just like, I got no room for this. Like, this is my toy room, which is half of the garage, and I basically filled it up, and then it was just like, what do I do now? It's like, well, you've got a kid on the way, so what are we doing? I'm like, right, who wants to buy some Black Series? They're the original ones. They're not in the box anymore because I like to play with my toys.
Yeah, that's what they're for.
Exactly. So yeah, it was the collecting side of things sort of got pushed to the side, and then focus on other things, other extracurricular activities, as we call them.
For sure. You get to be action figures. You get to be a life-size action figure. You get to dress up. So there are a few collecting questions later on that I'll ask you, but we'll get stuck into the list because I did send you them, and it sounds like you were very well prepared. So
I am a master of preparation. There's a script here.
That's what I like. So we'll kick off. For those who don't know, I do send all guests a list of questions. There have been some amendments throughout, so it's good to keep them changing and evolving. So we're just going to kick off. What are your first memories of Star Wars?
This is a good one, actually. I remember going to our younger viewers out there, we used to have these things called video stores, not DVD stores, not like it wasn't a physical Netflix store. It was videos, VHSs. So I went to Civic Video one day with my dad.
It's a Civic Video night tonight.
Exactly. What is it?
Still remember the jingle. That's something that does not lose. That does not go anywhere, that jingle.
Cheap Ass Tuesdays. That was a good one. But we went in there, and we were always getting things like, I'm going to drop some old names here, but if you remember them, go take your ibuprofen or something, like go and get your prostate checked. But
I've preloaded, don't worry.
So Sports Billy, I was really into Sports Billy, which, if anyone remembers that, it was a kid with like a sports bag, and he was like an action hero sort of thing that just used to pull sporting equipment out of this bag, and he was just good at everything. There was that, and there was also another one called The Phantom Toll Booth, which was an old movie that was highly educational, but unbeknownst to us children, it was not educational whatsoever. So we actually hired that one. Like, the Phantom Toll Booth got hired in our house so often that we wore the VHS out, and my parents had to pay for a new one for Civic Video.
Oh, wow.
I digress. We were there getting Phantom Toll Booth for the 335,000th time, and Dad actually grabbed the trilogy, and he said, do you want to sit down and watch this with me? And just from that first moment when like Vader and the TKs just board the rebel ship, that was like, this is badass. This is just like, he's just unreal. So I was hooked, and I was even back then it was all about the dark side. It was never I wasn't a rebel sympathizer. It was always the bad guys were always better. They
look cooler.
Yeah, exactly. They had the cool costumes. Like, what did Luke have?
Yeah, a nighting gown.
Yeah,
basically, and some pants or shoes that were wrapped around his. Yeah, whereas Vader had a cape and a dope helmet, and he looked. Yeah. He was tough.
Breathing problems, and we could sympathize with Vader because being a nerdy kid growing up, there was a guarantee that we had breathing problems.
Yeah.
So
especially if you spend some teenage years smoking cigarettes and stuff like that.
Exactly. So that was the first memories of Star Wars.
Awesome.
Dad introducing me to it. My dad's a massive star. Like, he got me into Star Wars. He got me into anything science fiction. Like, he was, I wanted to read a book, he'd hand me a H.G. Wells book.
Awesome.
Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy was a big thing in our house. So, I turned 42 a couple of weeks ago, and this is my life, the universe, and everything year now. So, yeah. It's a very science fiction orientated household.
That's good. That's awesome.
Yeah.
That keeps the imagination running beyond the own space of our planet.
Yeah.
Just reading Tim's comment here, the Phantom Toll Booth. That was I could never get into as a kid. I would watch Dr. Seuss animated cartoon features and TV specials, which I remember from the time of the Phantom Toll Booth. And I just looked up, Sports Billy, because I don't know, 1980. It was probably I was born in 87, so that may have sort of run its course by the time I was getting there. But just looking at some of the pictures, it looks familiar, but it may have been may have petered out.
People will Google it and they'll go, "Oh shit, I forgot that existed."
Yeah. Like I reminded someone of a show that was probably it was around in the 90s called Ferry Boat Fred, and it was like it was an Australian one. It was it was set in Sydney. It was along the same lines of like Thomas the Tank Engine, but it was Australian.
Yes.
Yeah. There's a little yellow boat, and the front of the head of the boat was the eyes, and you had boat friends and stuff like that. And
yeah.
I reminded someone, they're just like, you've just blown my childhood mind. I completely had obliterated that from their mind. And I was just like, just some things you can't forget.
Like 6 years of therapy blocked that crap out. You just brought it flooding back. Thanks, Jesse.
We all need some kind of therapy at some point of our life.
Exactly.
So you said before you're very original trilogy sort of centered. Is your favorite Star Wars film fall into those three?
Yes. A New Hope is definitely the favorite.
Yep.
I don't know. It was iconic. It was groundbreaking in the practical effects that they had, and how they utilized everything within their power at the time. Even down to the studio taking a chance on like this little known space western, or space spaghetti western as it was. Alec Guinness, Sir Alec Guinness, saying it was an absolute rubbish idea, and it goes on to be the one thing that everyone remembers him for. No one remembers his actual theatrical prowess, but everyone remembers Star Wars. So A New Hope is definitely number one on the list, closely followed by Return of the Jedi.
Nice.
So, it's all about the original trilogy. You got to go from what first grabbed you and brought you into that world. And now my kids, they love the new ones. I'm not one to tell them that they're wrong.
Yeah. It's the generational thing.
Yeah. But that's a Star Wars movie, that's the Star Wars movie for their time. So
exactly.
It's great that it's multi-generational. We had it, my dad got to see it at the cinemas. I got to see the prequels at the cinemas, and then my kids got to see their the new trilogy. They got to see that at the cinemas. So it's a great way to bring all the family multi-generational together. So Star Wars unite.
Yeah, long may it continue. It's going to be exciting. I did find out just the other day that we are getting the Phantom Menace here in Australia this year, because I was a bit concerned we weren't, because we didn't get the 40th anniversary of Return of the Jedi last year when they sort of really pumped that up. But we've sort of been speaking to a few people, and it seems like we're getting the Phantom Menace re-release this year for 25 years. Excuse me while I go and pop some more Nurofen.
We had it when 3D, when the whole 3D cinema thing just went absolutely nuts, and every single movie seemed to have a 3D release and a standard release. They chucked Phantom Menace in 3D at a few select cinemas, and it didn't work. It really didn't, because it was like you were watching a diorama come to life. So it was like it didn't have like the 3D coming at you or anything. It was just like it was in a box, like in a cardboard box in front of you. So it just didn't hold the same sort of thrill that you would expect a 3D movie to actually get for you. So I'm actually really keen to see the Phantom Menace. It was actually the first movie. Phantom Menace was the first movie that I drove to the cinema by myself to see. Well, drove myself and 3 mates to the cinema to see. So yeah, it's all milestones, in life. The first movie that you get to drive to see is a Star Wars one. So I was doomed from the beginning.
I was checking out Ian's, and here's me thinking I was the only one who has Empire as their 3rd favorite OT film, though Return of the Jedi is my top. Look, there's no wrong answers there. It's you know, it is what it is. There's no wrong placement. I always stick with Empire because it was the first one I saw as a kid. Like, I just remember being captivated by Yoda, but probably my sentimental favorite was Return of the Jedi. Like, I've explained many times, that was the only one me and my sister had let me watch. We'd had to share a video player, and that was the only way we had to watch it. And the only one she wanted to watch was the one with the teddy bears. So I watched Return of the Jedi over and over again.
Yeah, soulless eyes of the Ewoks. They've seen some stuff and they've done some stuff.
Booth is in here. What's up, bro?
Aaron, you're a champion, mate.
Getting to see Phantom Menace was my inspiration to finish basic training.
He's good value, old Az.
Sci-Fi's here too. Chatting about Star Wars mostly, for the most part.
Funnily enough, with the new all the new movies that came out and whatnot, Solo actually holds a pretty decent spot in my heart for the most recent movies. I love an origin story. Like, I'd love to see like so many more origin stories of the characters from the original trilogy. It just felt like that was perfectly cast, and yeah, it was a good movie to go and see at the cinema and not be like, not focus on anything Skywalker.
Yeah, there was very, very little baggage. Like, it was just
and it was just like
good fun adventure movie, really. Like,
and it had Woody Harrelson in it. Yes, it is, Aaron. Yes, it is.
Absolutely, couldn't agree more. Yeah, I still stand by that. I think he was a great casting for Han Solo. I think he played the part. He did his own sort of thing on it, and it was what it was. Like, he wasn't trying to impersonate Harrison Ford, because I don't know. I've always said for years now, since that debate sort of opened up, I said the characters have eventually got to become bigger than the actors that portray them, in order for them to continue and progress and be.
For Donald Glover to like portray Lando the way he did, that was just, he was Lando, like. And it was everything you expected Lando to be. He's like, he's got a room in the Falcon that's just like his cape. And he's just so vain and everything. It's like, that is exactly what I expect. Like,
arrogant, he's full of himself. So good.
That was perfect Lando.
And so it says, need another Solo one. I read the books as a kid. Some of those books were cool. There's some good stories out there. The Force Link Tobias Beckett figure is insanely priced these days. Wow, would not have guessed that.
It's not a great. I was still collecting, man.
Yeah, it's not a great looking figure either.
Yeah, it looks nothing like Woody Harrelson at all.
His eyes are like up here. living up to Harrison Ford is a huge ask. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
No one's ever going to be as big as Harrison Ford. Harrison Ford is a
because
deity in
Harrison
himself.
Ford can look grumpy on one side and happy on the other side. He's the only person that can do it.
I love the picture that someone actually like did the flip. It's so good. Yeah, I'd love to see that too. Solo.
Yeah.
An episodic series. Like I think the movie itself plays out quite episodically anyway, like in its parts.
Yeah.
And it's sort of that would work well as like a 40 minute episodes.
I think it would, because then it'd sort of push it towards like you could have like a bit of a side story onto your Crimson Dawn stuff. And like there's so much within the Star Wars universe and the expanded universe like that could be brought in. Make it happen, Disney. Come on.
Yeah,
Fan
just
service.
seeing him go on some like early jobs for Jabba, and becoming that best smuggler that Jabba's always had. Like gets to the point where he's like, you're the best one I've ever worked with. And
the question is
why?
Is it Jabba like human Jabba from like the unbastardized A New Hope, or is it like current Jabba, like a member of the Hutt?
Yeah,
very much so. The worm man
like
he is.
Like a CG thing that he Han sort of walks behind and then sort of slides over funnily. Shows more of Kira and Dryden Voss. Absolutely.
Dryden Voss, yes. That's a character that did not get enough screen time. Like Paul Bettany was just, and like I just loved how when he got angry, like the things on his face just like opened up, and it was like, okay, he's not actually human. Like, he's not human the way we see Han and Kira and all the other characters. He's from a different world, and oh man, that was when that happened. I was like, oh, this guy's cool. I like this guy.
And I love the Black Series figure. If you put him in the freezer, the scars come up.
That was a good little thought that they put in there. Fat guy in furry jacket.
Yeah, the original Jabba.
Oh yes,
I remember the name. The name was Declan Mulholland. That's just one useless piece of information I keep in my brain. So the next question I have for you is, who is your favorite character?
Man, you like when you sent these questions through, I was a little bit there was a lot of thinking that had to go into it because there is so many characters. So I mean, like I said, I love all my Imperial guys a lot. But if I'm gonna choose one rebel, it's got to be Han. He wasn't a rebel to begin with. He was just a smuggler, and he was just full of attitude. And yeah, he was absolutely amazing the way he just sort of switched over. Don't know if it was for the right reasons. I think it was just for the money, but you never get like led into that realm of like, why did he make the choice to come back?
Yeah.
So, I mean, you can't just say, oh, can't let you have all the glory, kid. No.
Yeah.
There was other reasons involved, but
he's almost like in A New Hope, he's kind of like the everyman's entry point. Like you can put yourself in Han Solo's shoes. He's the guy that's out there just working a 9-to-5 blue collar worker, trying to get by, grabbing opportunities for money when you can,
not kissing our sister.
Yeah, that's
big.
Ideally, that's a good way. It's a good mantra to live by.
Yeah, intergalactic incest. It's real.
It is real, but
yeah, I mean, when it comes to my Imperials, like that's a lot harder one to sort of put into. Oh, I don't know. It's so many good characters in the Imperials. Like most people go, "Oh, you just go Darth Vader." It's like, no, not really. Like, I've got my expanded universe stuff, which my boy there, my Revan, Revan, or whatever you want to pronounce it as. That's your call. Ravan. Come on, now you're getting into the realms of Savage.
Savage and Ravan.
Why are you Savage Opress? It's like, no, it's Savage. It has a French twang to it. But like Revan's in there. Maul, from the moment I saw Maul on the screen, that was just, I think we all got chills when, one lightsaber, like one end of the lightsaber went and then the other one. And you were like,
yeah,
what? But as far as just like, just Imperial Army goes, Tarkin, like the way even to the point of like how he was shown in Rogue One, even though it was like CGI and whatnot. And I also get a bit of a chuckle out of the fact that he was wearing slippers because he didn't like to wear the boots.
Yeah,
that's so good. It was like you just picture like Grand Moff Tarkin like walking through a Star Destroyer in like fuzzy slippers.
Yeah. He's probably got shorts on. He's got the cuffs of his pants like rolled up to halfway up his knees.
Like, Vader's choking the guy and he's like, oh, I got out of bed for this.
Tarkin's a good one, man. Like he just commands power. Like he is the definition of power through just shoving everyone else that's under him out of the way and just climbing the corporate ladder just out of pure just power and arrogance.
It's sort of the same sort of vibe as Thrawn. Like General Veers, Aaron. Yeah, Veers is good. Didn't mind Veers.
Like him.
Yeah. But yeah, like Tarkin and Thrawn were just sort of like same sort of command style. So yeah, it's Tarkin's just great. Afternoon, Wicketeer.
A fellow Adelaide lad. Not a character in the strictest sense. My favorite Imperial costume was the Imperial Royal Guard. How good was it seeing him in Bad Batch last week? There's like those Royal Guards coming down in Bad Batch.
Nah, these guys are better. The black ones are better.
They're elite. The Shadow Guards.
Yeah.
The elite Shadow.
Yeah.
You call them Shadow. You paint them black, call them Shadow, and no one can see them.
Whenever I wear my one, I get called Matt. Because it's, Matt? Because my kit is painted matte black. So people call me Matt.
Oh, okay.
I also, I have the saber pike, and when I'm like in costume and I stand there like this, I usually get people. I had a young kid walk past me and he goes, "What's up, Gandalf the Black?" So I had people in garrison calling me Gandalf the Black, which was great.
Gandalf the Black, I respect that.
Yeah,
as long as you don't get too many Darth Vaders, like that's where you need to go. Like,
oh no,
all right, come
anytime you dress in a black costume, like TIE Pilot, when we do we do our 20-kilometer walk each year. I usually wear the TIE Pilot because it's just nice and breathable and you don't sweat buckets in it. You just get the mums going, "Oh, look, it's Darth Vader." And it's like, no.
Sure is.
You throw $1 in the bucket. Come on. You called me Vader, $1 in the bucket. It's for a good cause.
One for charity and one for stuffing up.
Yeah. The $5 ones for one stuffing up. So, yeah.
Krennic is up there too, mainly because Mendelsohn absolutely knocked it out of the park.
100%.
I just love Mendelsohn.
I just loved how Krennic Tarkin shafted him hard.
Oh,
and you
big
can
time.
just see the level of frustration on his face. He's like, when he loses and he's like, "We stand on the forefront of my accomplishment." And it's just like, wow, dude.
He basically, after that point, spent the whole movie trying to fix his stuff ups. And just like one.
But Mendelsohn he did knock it out of the park. He just, it was amazing to see that one.
Looks on Darth Vader from Star Trek.
Yes, I've heard those ones.
All right. So, do you have a favorite background character or alien? It's another tough one because there's a lot.
No, this one was an easy one, and it's one of my favorite little bits of like background stuff that it's a blink and you miss it sort of thing. I love the fact that there was a NASA astronaut in the background of the cantina.
Was there?
Yeah.
I'm just learning about this now.
Yeah, no, there's a guy and he's like, yeah, in like an astronaut's outfit. Yeah.
Yeah, I know there's a couple of astronaut dudes, but I didn't realize it was like a, just a space outfit. I thought it was maybe made for like
repainted and whatnot, but it's
right.
It's a repainted NASA
wow,
proper NASA one. So yeah.
Now I've got another reason to go and watch Star Wars again, just so I can freeze frame and check that bit out.
Do you need a reason?
No, not at all.
Yeah, but yeah, it was just it was kind of like a background character that got Earth into the whole mix of, it is a galaxy far, far away, but how far do they say a galaxy far, far away, and how much does that encapsulate the rest of the universe? So
yeah, well, that's true.
Yeah, so this little NASA astronaut that's in there, and you just get a bit of a chuckle out of it. Like, okay, we need one more person for this scene. What do we got? Well, we got like an old costume, like an astronaut costume out the back. You just want to chuck that on?
Yeah, sure. I love it when people start chucking in their answers into the chat. One of the real highlights, the Clone Wars era, where the villains really got freshed out Tarkin, and then his answer for the last question is Lax Sivrak. Again, you can edit him out of the film, but you can't edit him out of our hearts. He's there forever. He's there forever. The Wolf Man. I like the fact. I like maybe the canonical idea is like maybe he got fleas one day and he's just like, no, you need to just stay home and do like a flea treatment or something. I don't know.
He's at home. He's at home licking himself clean,
just licking his own crotch.
Yeah, like a cat on the rug.
He just stares at you, just one leg in the air. Just... All right, favorite droid.
It's BB9E.
BB9E, nice.
Yeah. And it comes from, so when we had Brian Herring out here a few years back for Supernova, he really gave us like he came and like had drinks with us in the garrison, and he was just so accommodating, wanted to answer every single question available that he could. And yeah, it's sort of when you talk to him about like the whole engineering side and the physics that go into like the gyroscope and everything that's within like BB9 or BB units, like gyroscopes and drive engines and everything, like he is a puppeteer, but they actually made a fully functioning one. And it was just like, holy crap, like that was it's not just Anthony Daniels
walking around
or Kenny Baker in the R2 like zooming around everywhere. It's a piloted a remote control droid. So yeah, it was just great to talk to him about that. But yeah, BB9E is just it's a little black BB8
BB unit. Yeah, I like the sound.
They made him better.
Yeah, I like the I was watching Last Jedi again last week just because I love it, and the bit where he's sort of zooming in and scanning on BB-8 under the trash can, and he's like, woof. I just really like the sound design on his little. That just sounded really cool, and his beeps. It was like it was different to BB-8, but still the same sort of language of a BB unit, but it was his own sort of almost menacing little dark droid sound.
Yeah,
that's cool.
Eka says K2SO.
K2.
Aiden
says HK47, which I finally got the figure of.
Yeah.
From KOTOR. Love him. Ian likes a gonk. Who doesn't like a gonk?
And they're so easy to make.
Yeah, a couple of plastic tubs and
two storage containers on top of each other with a couple of ducting for legs.
Yeah.
And then you just put like blocks of wood. Like, there we go. We actually have ours set up that it's got a speaker and everything in it. So when we've got like droid on the stand at like Supernova or Comic-Con, we've always got music, like the Cantina songs going throughout the whole time.
That's awesome.
It's great. Just got like speakers and everything there. It's great. K2, droids shouldn't make me cry.
Big time.
But Cassian said you had to cry.
I hope we get K2 in Andor season 2. I think we will. Like, I think it's a no-brainer, but I'm ready for it.
Yeah, R2 is definitely he is he's a bros before hoes kind of droid. You know, he knew Anakin was crap. And he didn't say shit.
R2 knew everything, and he's just like, no, you don't need to know that. No.
Yeah.
You don't need all the information that I've got. You don't deserve it. So a couple more of the favorites. Favorite planet.
Crate. Like the it's just that's just a gorgeous planet to look at. Like, just looks like ice. And then, you know, once the speeders cut through it, it's just like the red salt, and it just the dynamic of like pristine white versus crimson red just looked really freaking cool. Plus, it's where the Voltex lives, so you know I like a Crystal Fox. Like, that was a cool little addition. Like, the Crystal Foxes was awesome.
Yeah, I was watching the Director and the Jedi again. Like, after I watched The Last Jedi the other week, I watched the documentary because I love that documentary. Like, it's one of my favorite making ofs of all of them. And yeah, watching the dogs in the suit, and they're sort of showing the dogs to run, and they got the little Crystal Fox suit on. I love that. It's just so good. You know, Crate's a good one. Yeah, I mean, I think about it a lot, but it's never one to really. I love that it sort of showed up in some comics as well as like an earlier Rebel base. Like, that was cool. Like, Bail Organa had been using it as a base at some point before A New Hope. And like Luke and Leia had visited Crate in years earlier. Like, yeah, that's a cool planet. I like that one.
Yeah.
Last of the favorite. Oh no, there's a few favorites left, but favorite lightsaber and color. I'm going to reword that one while I'm listening because I feel like I can ask that better.
It's Revan's purple one. Like, it's just it's mean looking. Like, the hilt is, you know, there's spikes on the hilt. It's around here.
It's terrible to hold.
Oh, yeah.
It's terrible to hold.
Yeah.
But if you're a Sith,
I have the
you would want that to piss you off.
Yeah. The Ultra Sabers one is also terrible to hold. And when you're like, you know, completely covered in the Revan and you've got this much vision or less because it's fogged up, and you're trying to find the button with a pair of leather gloves on, and you just can't quite find where the hell it's at, and you've got somebody wanting a photo with you, it's not a fun lightsaber to try and use.
Yeah, one of the dudes I work with, he got the Black Series one. And, you know, it is what it is. Black Series are cool. You know, get them for the right price. And I remember holding this thing. I'm like, yeah, this would be perfect for a Sith because it's awkward. It makes you feel frustrating. And if that just helps fuel your dark side, then it's going to be a good weapon to fight with.
Yeah, use the hate. Let it fuel you.
So it looks, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it is. It's very uncomfortable to hold, and couple that with like leather gloves and stuff, it just makes it even worse.
Yeah. Just going back to Aaron's answer there, Lamu from the start of Rogue One. Farming. And Ian sticking with his previous choice of Luke's original blue blade with the Dooku hilt. Yeah, I like that. Because that's, Luke's original blue blade was kind of a lighter blue than what we saw in the prequels. I don't know whether that's, you know, just because of the filming techniques that they used, it sort of appears that way on film. And I was sort of saying last week when I was chatting with Tim, sort of saying that I think it was even the 2004 DVDs where when Luke was on the Millennium Falcon in A New Hope and he's practicing with the remote, it almost looked green.
Yeah.
So I'm glad. I mean, they needed fixing, but yeah, it was weird. Like it was just like it wasn't blue. It was just So we're sort of discussing like maybe it's a film thing. You know, it's just the way it's aged on film and transferred from film to VCD and all that other crap over the years, gone from digital. But now it looks blue. I think it's safe to say it's blue, but it feels like a lighter blue than some of the others. Like it says, I love Maul's double bladed, but the red buttons make it look like a toy. Unless you've got a toy, then it is a toy. Yeah. But that's fair.
Oh no, my Savage one has red buttons and it takes away from the whole aesthetic of the saber.
Yeah, right.
It's I mean, we've all seen Savage's saber, like, you know, hooked on each end and, you know, just real dirty steel, but then there's these pristine red buttons on it and it just makes it look weird, which I will be replacing those eventually.
Yeah, what other color are you going to have though? Like, they're not going to have blue or green. No. That's a little bit, you got to stick with the Sithiness.
Yeah, exactly.
Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan's episode 1 sabers have the same issues. Yeah, you're right. They do. They do have the big red buttons on them. I do really like the Ray saber, and if I were to buy an FX saber, it would be that one. That's cool. Hey, Mando Love. Metal buttons, not red plastic. Yeah, even if they're like a metallic red, I reckon that'll look sick. Like you could almost like a metallic red would look cool. Less plastic, the one toyetic.
Yeah, the ones on my Savage one were like this. They've got like when I first got it, it was red and it just looked like plastic, like the old Tamika paints that you use for like model cars and stuff.
Yeah.
It looked like that. It was like a real dull red, and I actually took them off and spray painted them with like a candy red, and they actually looked a heap better. But you know, to anyone that's just like looking at it, they just go, looks like a toy, doesn't look right. It's like, yeah, I know what you mean. And you know, one day I'll get like some proper, like, you know, chrome red or something like that, and it'll make it look a little bit more sci-fi-esque.
Yeah, no, that'd be cool. Opposites of each other, but what moment in Star Wars used the internet for a moment? We back? We good?
Yep,
my
you're
screen
good.
Just blotted out for a second there. Yep, cool. Did you catch that? Did I cut out?
No, you cut out.
Okay. Where are we? What moment in Star Wars makes you happy?
The end of Rise of Skywalker, and it wasn't just because the movie ended. Like it was more everything that sort of like when they win and it's everyone's celebrating, like so much emotion. And like, so I went to the midnight screening in full Savage press, contact lenses, everything. I did not expect it to be that emotionally charged at the end. And I cried my freaking eyes out for that last section when they were all celebrating. And my eyes hurt for like a week afterwards, because crying while you've got contact lenses in and you're covered in paint. So I had like, you know, I was sweating as well. So I had like the black and yellow paint running into my eyes. And then it was like running down. And I must have looked like a mess when I walked out of the cinema. People would be like, I feel you, man. I feel you, Savage. You did well, mate. You did well. But yeah, that ending was just, it provided so much closure and just rounded it all out perfectly for me. I know a lot of people didn't see it that way, but that's their opinion. They're entitled to it.
Yeah.
My opinion is that I liked it.
That's what it is. That's what, yeah, and that's what we'll say a lot is whether you like the movie or not, it's entertainment. And if you find it entertaining in yourself, that's the most important thing. Nothing else matters really. No one else's opinion matters. Yeah, I remember being absolutely buzzing at the end of that movie. You know, after a couple of years of analysis, there's a few little things I would fix in that movie, and I would change myself. But it's probably the same for any of the movies. There's certain things I would like to tweak myself, but I enjoy what we were given. And when Han Solo showed back up to, you know, salvage his son basically and save his son there, and that broke me down pretty damn hard.
Yeah,
And I was
that was full on. Like that scene was heavy, man. Like, because you know, after Han was killed, we were sort of like, well, shit, what the hell? Like, they've killed off a major character, and it's like, okay, was this Harrison Ford's request, or is this actual actual pertinent to the storyline? But I think it was. I think it was quite important to the storyline later on down the track for that particular scene. Like,
yeah.
And I know that, you know, all the guys at, you know, Disney and the directors and the writers and everything, they're going, we're going to make some Star Wars fans cry, like ugly cry in a cinema in public.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And it was a big repetition from the scene in, you know, in Force Awakens with Ben and Han there on the railing. And, you know, it's a bigger personal story to talk about, but I remember that moment, like just even listening to the music of, you know, that sort of inner struggle of Ben Solo at that moment where he, you know, kills his father out of, you know, in the hopes that it'll give him some resolution and get him to continue on. Like, I don't know, that hit me pretty damn hard. Like, even
especially
I remember driving to work one day listening to the score, and it was just, I was crying on my way to work. It was just, it hit me damn hard. So when that moment happened in Rise of Skywalker, like that was heavy.
Yeah, and what made it even worse was like Chewie standing there watching the whole thing, and you know that like he had, you know, he was like, Ben was raised with Chewie as like his Uncle Harry man.
Chewie.
Yeah. So, you know, and he just sees his best mate killed by like his nephew pretty much. And yeah, like the way he loses it and just like lets out a massive roar, and you're like, oh man, Chewie's feeling this one.
Yeah.
So it really added a bit of gravity to that scene having Chewie in there as well.
Definitely. What moment in Star Wars makes you sad?
The script writing. The script writing for Rise of Skywalker. Just that the one in particular. Somehow Palpatine returned. That could have been said so much better, and it could have been done so much better. But oh man, it hurt. It hurt every fiber of my being. And the Adelaide internet has gone again.
Fine.
And you're back.
So it's probably just the crazy, I don't know what it. Yeah, NBN fail. Thanks, Australia. That's good.
Yep.
Bear with me for a moment, folks.
You're back.
Going to try and. I'm good. Feel good.
Yeah. Yep.
Awesome.
A bit grainy, but you're good.
Grainy, I can deal with.
Yeah.
Oh, frustrating. It doesn't happen all that often, but I'm down the other end of the house from where the modem is from. Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I hear you loud and clear.
Yeah. The script writing, the Palpatine scene.
Somehow Palpatine returns. That was just cringy. And there was stuff in there that was just not well written. It felt like they kind of tried to make it simplistic. And not add a lot of complexity to the dialogue. Like they were sort of focused on the story, but they let the dialogue fail, or you know, the dialogue let down the story. So Rise of Skywalker was just a little bit it was, for me, it was still a good movie, but it felt very lazy and slapped together with the script writing.
It was yeah, points. It was kind of a case of we need to get through this. We need to minimize exposition. And I've spent a bit of time thinking about that whole, Palpatine has returned. Somehow Palpatine has returned, and I've tried to sort of go from an in-universe perspective of those characters, just finding out that, Palpatine has indeed returned, and it's to the everyman in the galaxy, probably they don't know. Like, we get to see a little bit of exposition for the audience when Kylo Ren goes to Exegol, and, you see all his equipment, and you've got, his loyalists sort of doing experiments, and his Snoke's in the tanks and clones, and you kind of get the idea of what's going on there, but there's not enough exposition there to kind of say, Palpatine's spirit has been able to endure through a clone body. Like, I don't think it would have taken much to explain that a little bit more, but given that there's that little bit of exposition, and then you cut to, basically the rebels that are like, holy crap, it's been 30 years. We thought he died 30 years ago. Somehow he's back. How can we explain this? And then you've got Dominic Monaghan's character. He's just like, dark science, we don't know much about it, but this is the best way I can explain it. So I guess, so from sort of an in-universe perspective, I kind of go like, yeah, okay, they got no idea what the hell is bloody going on there. Like, it's like, how is this working? He's back. We got to deal with it. Don't know how, but yeah, there was one, the little section in that early part of the movie where the Falcon comes back and Rey and Poe are having that little bit of back and forth discussion. It's very fast-paced dialogue, and it's like, was there a spy or not? He's like, no, spy. And some of those back and forth between the three characters, it's a little bit too on the nose. Like, it's a little bit too scripted. Like, it doesn't feel like a natural discussion between the characters. I know they've tried to do that sort of.
Yeah, and especially three characters that were supposed to be so close, like after their initial meeting and whatnot in the first movie, that it just felt very, I don't know, it felt wrong. It didn't feel,
especially between Rey and Poe, who had literally only just introduced each other at the end of the last movie. And now it's like, time has passed, so they've obviously gotten to know one another a little bit. But yeah, I don't know. It just seemed a little bit too, I can't think of the word, but you know what I'm trying to say. Like,
artificial. Didn't seem organic. Like, it didn't seem like a normal conversation that normal people would have. I mean, they're not normal people. They're characters in a galaxy far, far away.
Yeah, 100%.
Use like space magic and stuff. But yeah, it's crazy to me that you had to pay before I started.
It was right, Sky. Yeah. That was stupid crossover marketing. That's what that was. That was just dumb.
Damn Fortnite. I had a kid compliment me on my Dragon Ball Z tattoos the other day, and he goes, "I know them from Fortnite." I'm like,
okay. We lost the transmission, sir. Yeah. I apologize for that, guys. It was the Minox chewing on the power cables of the half-finished national broadband network we have here in Australia.
Yeah.
I wouldn't even say half-finished, like it was a quarter-done job.
Yeah, let's roll with that, Echo. Definitely.
Invasion.
Somehow just returned. That's crap script writing right there, Wicketeer.
I saw a meme the other day. Somehow Sauron made another ring. I did see that one. That was good.
Oh, that's brilliant.
Lord of the Rings, Return of the Ring. Dark Empire comic book already did the Clone Emperor. Yeah, I don't object to the idea. I just, had they been able to tickle a couple of those had it been planned beforehand and said, all right, the Emperor's going to come back in 9. We'll throw a couple of little tickles in, even just episode 8, just to sort of say, there's a little thread there. There's a little something you can go off. And the closest I think they got was they used sort of Palpatine's theme with Snoke, when Snoke goes and throws Rey in the air, and they play Palpatine's theme, and that's whether that's intentional or not. But it was just sort of John Williams maybe being the genius he is. But yeah,
but I think that they could have done something in the way of even foreshadowing into like what Palpatine says about, you know, some Force users can even manipulate the power to choose whether someone lives or dies, or, you know, blah blah blah. That should have been a bit of foreshadowing into, like, in episode 8, like when Rey is learning about the Force and blah blah blah. That's what should have been, like, you know, she should have had some sort of not introduction, but some sort of information given about the bad of the dark side, and how it shouldn't be toyed with and whatnot. And that could have been a good little foreshadow, just to, I think it wouldn't have done wonders, but I think it would have softened the blow of somehow Palpatine returned.
Yeah. I remember in the lead up to Rise of Skywalker, and my ultimate plan, if I was helming that movie, I would have let a little bit of my Lord of the Rings fandom come in. And for those watching, I don't know if you know the beginning of the Two Towers, where it sort of zooms in through the mountains and it goes into the mountain and it shows Gandalf fighting the Balrog, and then the camera sort of, instead of where we see it in the Fellowship, it follows Gandalf with his battle with the Balrog as they fall down. I would have liked to have seen the camera sort of coming in through space, you know, battle over Endor, you know, you're seeing all these shots, goes into the Death Star from another angle. You see Vader picking up Palpatine and throwing him over the edge. But instead, the camera follows Palpatine down that hole. And then, you know, he does some mystical wizard Sith shit, and his spirit, you know, just flies across the galaxy. And you see him sort of, you know, wake up in a clone or something like that. You just sort of see this happen, this transfer of spirit.
And then he wakes up as Palpatine the White, and we're all good.
Yeah. Palpatine the Decrepit, and these crusty, smoky figures.
Yeah. Emperor Palpatine. Some people once called me that.
Some people, my name is actually Sheev. Thing is, Rise of Skywalker told a story too quickly and brought him back too quickly. Now they're explaining all through TV series, which I'm okay with. I'm good with that. I like the world building that they're doing now to be able to do that. I think that's good. Not bringing back Sheev at all would have been even better. Maybe for episode 10 they won't bring him back.
Yeah. Why they didn't flesh it out? They just threw it at you and hoped it all makes sense by giving you on the nose dialogue, so you didn't have to ask and be confused. No, Disney doesn't do that. Not at all.
The 7, 8, 9 don't make a coherent trilogy. I think they do now. I think, you know, for what they are, you know, 1, 2, 3 didn't for a long time. There was a lot of stuff in episode 2 where they were doing the whole Sifo-Dyas thing. It was like, you know, what the hell was that? Well, like, we had no idea for years. Like, what the hell was Sifo-Dyas? And it's like, well, that's a big gaping
the
hole.
Yeah.
They didn't fill up with episode 3. And they didn't finalize that story, and it was.
I think the political push within episode 2 was confusing to me when it came out. You'd frozen again. Go Adelaide.
It's great. I love it.
You're back.
I love it. Back. Thanks. I'm going to be ringing my internet service provider after this and giving him a stern talking to.
Don't you know who I am?
I have a live stream to run here. I'm just actually going to see if I can tether to my mobile hotspot, because that's probably got better internet. So if I do jump out for a second, bear with me. I'll see what I can do.
There we go.
Hopefully we're good now.
We're good now?
Hopefully, yes. I've just connected to my phone. Let's bring up the questions again. That's what happens when you do this live, man. There's no editing. It's all raw, and it happens as it happens, and we've got to deal with things like internet, Australian internet. Since the Disney Plus show, I think the sequel trilogy makes a lot more sense, and in a few years will be respected the same. I think so too. I think gotta let the picture sort of be painted in around it. That's what I've been saying for a while.
Yeah,
but
give it time.
All right. So that was a nice discussion about what makes you sad.
Yeah.
Do you have a favorite quote?
Never tell me the odds. It's a great, it's a great.
There it is.
Yeah, it's just something to. Why do you want to know the odds of anything? Just fly by the seat of your pants and let shit happen. I think it's a good little mantra to have for yourself. But yeah,
not
it's
powerful enough to change things, and
that and don't get cocky, kid. That was always a good one for me. It was just a little bit of a chuckle, like, I got one. Yeah, don't get cocky, kid. And I love when families took the piss out of it. They're like, don't get penisy, kid.
Oh, some of those Family Guy, like the Star Wars quotes from those films, are just sometimes they take the place, like, I love you. And then obviously Peter's response of fuck off. It's just, it was not expected the first time you watch it. And it's
like you knew Family Guy was going to like rip on it so hard. But then when it's just like, especially when they introduce Brian as Chewie. He's like gargling. They're like, what are you saying, Chewie? He's like, always rinse before a mission. It's like,
and just little things like Joe is the probot from Empire Strikes Back, and he's like, wah, 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 wah. You gotta wonder how Patrick Warburton felt in the recording booth, just going wah, 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 wah.
Yeah. What do you want me to do for this one? But you can picture the look on his face. He's like, okay, whatever.
Great kid. Go get coffee. Sticking with the
greatest teacher failure is. Wow, it's not just your internet, it's also your phone. We've lost Jesse. Hey, there we go. Who knows?
This is making me mad tonight. It's making me mad and sad. This just doesn't happen.
Yeah. That last one was laugh it up, fuzzball.
Yeah. So we're just going to deal with it. We're going to get through this. We're going to get through this. We're going to do it together. And JD carried the stream. It's definitely in capable hands. I know that. I know it's in very, very capable hands. So the next one's along the same lines as favorite quote. It was your favorite life message.
I think the togetherness across all species was a great message. Like, it doesn't matter, everyone's working towards a better future. Everything's all inclusive. It's the way life should be. Like, why would you not include someone? It's like, it just, like, not only teaching us, like, fight against evil, like fight against evil forces and whatnot, always question that sort of stuff. But it just shows, like, if we all work together, then we can achieve a common goal. I think that was a great message through Star Wars was, if we all work together, we can do this. And I think, that inclusiveness really needs to be pushed out throughout the world, really.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's, it all comes back to, the worldwide problem of racism. And, when it comes down to it, we're all humans. That's That's the race we are as on this planet. We're humans, and Star Wars paints the bigger picture and says, we're humans, we're aliens, but we can all operate in a civilized way. We can try and understand each other, work together and try and make a better world.
Yeah. I sort of put it forward to my kids that, there's like cats, dogs, they're all different colors, different everything, different breeds, but they're still a dog or they're still a cat. And it's the same with humans. It doesn't matter if you're from another country, your skin color is different, your religious preference or religious beliefs, is different to another person's. You're still a human, and you should be treated with as much respect as what you would expect to receive. I think that is 100% what the message of Star Wars is to me. Is just all inclusiveness. It's just fantastic.
Yeah. Couldn't agree more. So last one before we get into a few little collecting questions, but what is your favorite piece of Star Wars music?
Duel of the Fates. Like it's a piece of music that just it's a soundtrack to the moment that Liam Neeson's actually killed on screen. Like that doesn't happen very often. So
no.
And
no, if only Qui-Gon had a daughter that Maul had kidnapped or something, like Qui-Gon wouldn't have gone out.
Yeah. Like maybe if Maul had have gone over the freaking dunes and hit Anakin, and then Qui-Gon was charged enough to take him out, and then we wouldn't have had any other Star Wars movies.
It was even the one of the only Star Wars tracks to have a film clip that used to show up on Video Hits on Sunday mornings.
Yeah, I remember that. That was Video Hits
back in would have been late 90s, early 2000s. Before the YouTube days, we had a show on Sunday mornings. Probably went for a couple of hours called Video Hits, and it was all about it was just playing video clips of the current pop songs, popular music, whatever was out there at the time, and that had a video clip. Duel of the Fates was on there.
What's number one this week? Duel of the Fates. Yes.
So a little bit off topic, but I've just heard thunder, being that we've had a nice sunny 32-degree day here in Adelaide. And I've just heard thunder. So that weather could be explaining the internet interruptions here. So I think it was thunder. Either that or a truck drove through my backyard. So
okay, let's roll with thunder.
Yeah, it's probably a more explainable. Ian says, before, I love the vastness and variety of Star Wars, all the different aliens and cultures. It's part of what makes Star Wars so appealing to so many. 100%. I myself like to look at myself as a muff tack type guy. So I see myself as a white furry guy with a little, that's going. I know you mean Yoda, Kerry, but Yoga's failure monologue. I know you mean Yoda.
Yeah, that was actually, like his monologue about failure was actually, that was quite good.
That was Luke's last lesson, really. Yeah. Excellent choice, Duel of the Fates. Ian sticking with Binary Sunset. That and rewatching the episode 1 trailer on repeat on QuickTime.
Oh, God.
Putting in a CD wrong.
Go take some ibuprofen, dude.
Oh, no, don't say that. It's still in Seacliff. They're just saying to mate, what an absolute stain of a species humans are. It's true. It's true. We're so lame. We are terrible for the most part,
Monkeys with a voice, as they say.
Yeah, 100%. Especially when you've got political power.
Oh yeah.
So you said earlier, not a huge collector at the moment. You have collected in the past, and you've obviously got a few bits and pieces. Which every Star Wars fan, it's hard to avoid having anything like. But what is your favorite item in your collection?
I go after obscure stuff. Like the obscure really it interests me. I like bootlegs as well. Like
Cool.
remember the I can't remember the name of them. They had them at a local flea market near my house, and they're like Galaxy Wars or something, and it's like, you know, Chewbacca is like green, and the TK is like hit the roids, and he's like out here, and those were really cool. I love seeing those. I never had the money to be able to afford them, but I go after obscure stuff. Not go after as such. If I see something that's weird, I'll try and buy it. Favorite item in my collection is actually out in my bookcase, and it's a book called The Religion of the Force, and it's basically a university student's thesis on the comparison between modern Christianity versus the Force and how they are intertwined. Religion is something that really interests me. I'm not a religious person at all, but it is something that actually interests me. But to see something that was sort of, Christianity versus the Force, and you read it and you're like, I can see exactly if this person did not receive like a high distinction on this for the amount of effort they put into it.
Wow.
Then they got ripped off.
Yeah. Wow.
So it's always the obscure stuff that sort of sticks out to me.
That's cool. I'd definitely be interested. You know, I know George himself, you know, he's very, very invested in his religion. I don't know if he was a hugely religious person. I'm not sure. Not 100% sure, but he always said, you know, all different religions, you know, they're all sort of said, oh, what was his exact, I can't remember his exact quote, but it was all like, everyone's different religious belief. It's all different parts of the same elephant sort of thing.
Yeah.
He said something along those lines. I'm probably misquoting or paraphrasing or whatever, but there was, I mean, obviously you start reading into a lot of different stuff. I started reading into like Buddhism and stuff quite a few years ago now. And it was like, I can kind of see how they, you know, they sort of intertwine together in a lot of aspects.
Yeah.
But that's a cool book. That sounds like a cool book. I'll have to get you to send me a photo of it and I'll try and hunt it down.
Yeah. I'll just like take a photo of every page for you. And send that
read it. Just read it on Messenger.
Have a read through your phone. It's fine. Yeah,
I had to give up collecting film. Kids were born priorities. You can always come back to Star Wars.
Yeah,
that's the thing. You can. There's never a time where you can't put the movies on, unless your kid's screaming or throwing up or shitting himself, or whatever. But
no, you still put it on and you have it as background noise.
You try and cancel out the screen.
And then later in life, they can attribute Star Wars to, like, you know, shitting themselves or, you know, throwing up.
Childhood trauma. Childhood trauma.
What happened? I was sick and Dad made me watch Star Wars.
So I guess that was, you know, you said you're into a lot of unique stuff, and that was probably unique. So the question, whether there's anything in your collection you consider to be unusual, I guess that is kind of the different item, or have you got something else in mind as well?
I was looking behind me because I actually thought that it was within arm's reach. But I have this little, it's basically this. It's a TIE fighter. But it's about this big. And it's made of cast iron. And it weighs like significant amount of weight in it for the size that it is. And it was one of those things that one of my friends gave to me as a gift. They're like, oh yeah, you dress up as a TIE fighter, like, here you go, have one. And it's like, yeah, okay, cool. And put it in your hand, like, what the hell? Like, that's just, so a little bit unusual. It's just a very very deceiving little toy.
You got to pick it up and, oh crap.
And the thing is, it's, oh, man, I really want to know where the hell it is now, because it's such a cool little figure. I mean, everything behind me is like Transformers right now. So, yeah, it'll be lost in amongst all of that. But, yeah, it was
something heavy, can't go too far.
Yeah. It's, it was just a weird little gift that someone gave me. And, like, you open up You can actually like open the lid, and there's like a little cast iron TIE Pilot in there, and yeah, it's just this cool little toy. It was quite unusual to receive that as a gift.
That's cool.
Yeah, that storm's not treating you good down in Adelaide. We're frozen again. Who's got a question for Jesse while he's not here? I love your internet, Jesse. I also love the fact that you have storms that are ruining your internet. Hey, there we go. He's back.
Oh, it's yeah.
I know it's frustrating.
Oh, we're getting towards we're getting towards the end of the questions. So we appreciate everyone for coming, sticking around with us, and dealing with this. It's frustrating for me, but like I said, it's what happens when we do it live.
Exactly.
Is there anything you don't have that you'd love to have in your collection?
Ray Park's screen used saber hilt. Just like I said before, that moment in Star Wars where he ignited one side of the saber and then the other one came out, it was just like your mind was blown all over again from when you first watched the original trilogy, going to see episode 1 and seeing that. So yeah, that saber has a it has a place, and that place is over on that shelf over there. So give it up, Park. It's mine.
I was bummed out because he was meant to come down to Australia a couple of years ago and he had to bail. That might have just been after COVID, I reckon, or it was maybe it was, I can't remember. I reckon it was just after. But that's a recurring trend for Star Wars guests that come down to Australia, or celebrities that come down to Australia. They get work. It's a big trip. Sometimes they've got to pull out.
I actually, he was down here, Supernova passed way ago. I think it was nearly 10 years ago. And he just walked around the convention. Like, he just walked around Supernova and he was just talking to randoms. And I was actually at the ticket booth to buy my ticket for a signature. And he walked up and he's just like, "All right, mate, you're having a good day." And I turned around and I'm like, "Oh my gosh. Oh my God." And I just I lost my cool. And it's one of the only moments that I've actually like properly fanboyed out. And then, I got an actual episode 1 poster, which has Maul very prominent in the middle. He signed that for me, and he was amazing. And he actually signed, I don't know, and if you haven't seen it, and if anyone that is watching this right now has not seen this show, I suggest you find it, because there is a character in it that is just, he is all of us. And it's a show called Breaking In. Now, what it is it pays a lot of fan service to 80s fans. So it's got Christian Slater and Alyssa Milano.
Yep.
And Christian Slater owns a security business that what they do is they go and break into places to prove that people's security systems aren't good enough. And that's how they get a contract to do their security systems. It's a comedy show.
Right. Yep.
One of the episodes, it's actually the very last episode, I think it is. One of the girls in the office, her uncle is Peter Mayhew.
Right. Okay.
And she, without giving too much away, Peter Mayhew has his Chewbacca costume stolen by an Uber fan. And that's not a fan of Uber for people of generation. But
the prior designation to the word Uber.
Yeah. So they had to break into this super fan's house to steal back the costume.
Yeah.
But the guy has actually decked out his house as like the interior of the Death Star. And he's got the collection and everything. Like, you watch this one episode and it's actually really good, because they're like walking through this guy's collection and they turn around and they're like, looked at this one and it's like, like a mannequin, and it says, you know, Ray Park, the actor who played Darth Maul. And then it turns out it's actually Ray Park just standing in like a detolf, like a IKEA detolf. And it's like he gets out, he actually fights like with the double-ended lightsaber and everything. And
Oh wow!
so when I met Ray, I actually got him to sign my copy of this DVD. And
Oh
he
wow!
was astounded. He didn't even know that they kept him in the show.
Oh really? Wow!
Yeah, like so, and it actually has Michael Rosenbaum in it as well.
Yep.
So I got to meet him, got him to sign it as well, and he was just like, he was blown away that I'd heard about it. And yeah,
That's
Ray
cool.
was like, "What? They kept me in." I'm like, "Dude, you've got like a full fight scene." He's like, "Oh shit, I'm gonna have to go and find it and watch it." Like, I thought they cut all my stuff. Like, I didn't get any notification or anything. And I'm like, "Dude, you got to get on it. It's such a good episode." But yeah, it's like a full. It's got Megan Mullally from like Will and Grace, and like there's just so many. There's so many star cameos, and yeah, Alyssa Milano plays Christian Slater's ex-wife, and yeah, it's a cool show. So yeah, go and watch it. It's called Breaking In.
Yeah,
and yeah,
just looked
I
it up,
100%
so I'm gonna
guarantee it.
Yeah,
but yeah, there's a dude there that's a tech genius, and his name's Cash, and he's got Voltron shirts. He lives in his mum's garage, but he has like the automatic door on the front of the garage. He's got like the window behind Palpatine's throne, like as the backdrop on this thing. So when he opens it up, it's like opens up the side of the Death Star out to.
That's awesome.
Such a good show. Yeah,
I'm gonna have to find that. Yeah, that sounds like something I need to watch. I'd never heard of that before. I've heard of the show, but yeah, I've never seen it.
I found it after a Brett Harrison, not obsession, but a Brett Harrison kick. So he's an actor that's been in a few really good comedy series. Another one that he's in is called Reaper, and he plays a kid whose parents sell his soul to the devil before he's born. And as a result, when he turns, when he turns 21, he has to become a reaper for the devil and return escaped souls back to hell.
Yeah, right.
It's a comedy show. It has Tyler Labine in it as well as his best friend Sock, who is just hilarious. In fact, after this, I'll probably go and watch a couple of episodes of it because it's just like a fantastic show. But yeah, I discovered Breaking In through that show, and cool. yeah, gotta watch it. It's such a good show.
I'll track it down. That's for sure. What is it about Star Wars memorabilia that you think is important to fans? Now, this is a question I'm going to try. I want to try and rework, because a lot of people seem to come out with the same thing, which is fair because it is what it is. But you know, definitely interested to hear your take.
I think the attachment to something you had as a child, you know, harking back to a simpler time, a better time, you know. Maybe your childhood wasn't great, but you found solace in, you know, playing with your Star Wars, you know, escapism into your Star Wars figures. So, you know, that's a good memory for you. So it's, I just think that people like the ability to detach from real life from time to time and just enter a realm of fantasy. And, you know, the collection side of it gives you that physical. Like, it's not just, you know, the imagination that's working overtime. It's actually, you've got something physical to, you know, hold on to and really focus that sort of ideas into, I guess. Yeah. I mean, who the hell doesn't like swinging a lightsaber around? Seriously.
I know. Yeah. I was saying that when I got the Princess Leia lightsaber from Rise of Skywalker a few weeks ago, and I was like, you know what? You can get a grown-ass man. You put a lightsaber or a sword in his hand, he reverts to boyhood instantly. And I was standing out the backyard just swinging the lightsaber around. Yeah, exactly. Like, it's just...
I've got my Thundercats lightsaber. It's the Saber of Omen. So yeah,
that's sick.
Who doesn't like you know, reliving their childhood? I mean, you know, the good parts of your childhood, obviously, but yeah,
that's what keeps us feeling young. And otherwise we get old and crusty and, you know, just become miserable.
What is it? I have to get old, but I don't have to grow up.
Yeah, I like that. That's good. That's
Yeah.
definitely a good one to go live by, I think.
Yeah.
So obviously we're gonna get older. The future's coming. What are you excited about the future of Star Wars?
Everything. I don't care what it is. I feel very privileged to have existed in a time that Star Wars did, and you know, whatever it is in the Star Wars universe. But if I have to pinpoint something, I am really keen for the Acolyte. Like that series has such potential, and I really hope it's executed correctly. But yeah, like everything Star Wars. I'm one of the Star Wars fans that I don't care what it is, good or bad. Hell, the holiday special was still Star Wars. Gave me a good laugh.
Yeah,
Without that, we wouldn't have had Boba Fett.
It's true.
So, you know, for what is it, 3 minutes and something or other seconds of screen time that he had, and just became an iconic character. So
yeah,
that was just the way Jeremy Bulloch carried himself. So I think that confidence in his stance just really made for it. So yeah, I don't care what it is, man. It's Star Wars is Star Wars, and you know, there is a point of oversaturation, but I think we're at the point now where it's just that we're at a good level of the constant. You know, we get another like a final season of Bad Batch, and you know, we got that final season of the Clone Wars, which you know gave some really good insight into like Ahsoka and everything. Like it is, yeah. We get TV shows and which are groundbreaking in the way that they make films now, where there's no massive location shots that they have to do anymore. They don't have to go out scouting for anything because they can do everything on a soundstage and it still looks seamless. Yeah, like I think the excitement sort of lies in not only the stories that we're going to get out of the Star Wars universe, but also the technology that's going to come out of it. There's a documentary called How William Shatner Changed the World, and it's all about how I don't know if you've seen that one.
No,
it's Shatner, so you know. But it's all about how things within the Star Trek universe have come into real being. Like you know, without their comms devices, where would mobile phones be? Like there's, you know, an idea for something starts somewhere, and a lot of the ideas that came out of Star Trek have made it into, you know, real life. And I think it's exciting with the amount of technology that we're getting just in creating movies alone, and you know, props and whatnot that are created for movies. There's an air of this could actually work. We could actually like look at the guys that are trying to make an actual lightsaber, like a portable lightsaber that doesn't come with a freaking backpack like a 1980s mobile phone.
Yeah, with the retractable blade, the one that Disney's doing at the moment. You know, it's not going to cut through anything, but it's still freaking cool.
Yeah, exactly. Like gone are the days of like, you know, a lightsaber that you throw so hard that like, you know, 3 stages of plastic tubing comes out. It's now like it's within grasp of having an actual lightsaber that you can just, and it just and off it goes. And that to me that's exciting.
I hope we're still going to be around for it. Let's just say that.
Yeah.
But yeah, you talk about the Acolyte. You know, it sounds like we may not have to wait too much longer for that now. They're sort of talking about a tentative release date for June. I know it's all hearsay until it's all official, but
we always wait until it actually happens before we bank on it.
Yeah. And, you know, we're at the last season of the Bad Batch, which I was kind of glad to hear, like, as I love Bad Batch, but to kind of say, you know, this is all we need to wrap up the story is 3 seasons and we're going to finish the story and go on to the next thing. I'm kind of like, good. You know, when there's a stopping point, there's no like, oh, we need to drag this shit out for 10 years because it's popular and it's good. And, you know, just it sounds like maybe that's kind of what they did when they backtracked a little bit with Mandalorian, bringing Grogu back. And it was like, yeah, he sells toys and makes a lot of money. He's very popular. We need to bring him back. Yeah. Who knows? That's for the inside of the corporate heads to know, and for us to only assume. But yeah, Acolyte, that's a lot of potential there. There's it's in a time zone, a time era of Star Wars that's we could build a pretty strong world around it, and it could be a good fertile starting point for new generation of Star Wars stories.
Yeah, like something that isn't centered around a Skywalker at all, or an offshoot of a Skywalker, or someone that claims to be a Skywalker, or whatever. Skywalkers are done. Let's move on from that, and let's get into expanded universe stuff. And it's so, like, you've got such infinite amount of worlds that they can travel to. You don't explore any stories from those. You just tend to focus on that. I think that's where the excitement should be lying for the new Star Wars, is getting that expanded universe back into some sort of realm of mainstream Star Wars.
And that's going to ensure longevity, I think, for sure. Just being able to expand and grow, and without baggage. So last of the questions, and this is always a good one to get people's thoughts on. What does Star Wars and being a Star Wars fan mean to you? We kind of touched on it a fair bit.
But I mean, it's done so much for me. So it is difficult to define what it truly means. To me, there's so much emotion, positive memories. The franchise it's the franchise that just kept on giving. Without Star Wars, I wouldn't have friends in Germany, US, Japan, all over the world. Everywhere in the world, there's a garrison of some description. And I think it's awfully cool that we've sort of made it garrisons, so we're sort of like we're a part of the empire. So so when you're a kid and you're growing up and you're creating your own galaxy far, far away, you may not have been like, oh yeah, we're on Tatooine, or we're on Endor or anything like that. You were creating your own, so it really sparked imagination in so many people, and like I said before, multi-generational fandom that just keeps on giving. And if the new trilogies gain the traction and have the stories fleshed out in TV series or whatnot, to help people see that they were actually decent movies, I think that's fantastic as well. And that just opens up a new realm of how people perceive Star Wars to be beneficial, rather than there is a toxic side of the fandom. We all know there is, those lovely keyboard warriors that love to tell you that you're wrong, that your opinion is wrong. But there's that old saying that opinions are like arseholes. Everyone has one, and everyone thinks that everyone else's stinks. Remember that, kids. Let people enjoy things. Just let them enjoy it. So you
don't need to throw anyone else your asshole.
Unless you have an OnlyFans.
Not everyone wants to see it.
No, exactly. Like, comment, subscribe.
No, that's I do like that. It's it's generational. It's bringing people together. It's it is a tricky one to define, like you said. I don't know where I'd be in life without it. It's probably we go through relationships and friendships and jobs and sort of all these sort of drastically changing things in our life. But I don't know, for me, Star Wars has been that sort of number one constant since I was 6 years old, I reckon. Maybe 5, 6, 30 years. I don't know what life is without Star Wars. I don't want to know what life is without it. It's You don't
Star
have
Wars
to.
doesn't judge, just the fans do.
Yeah, and we're getting to a point where there's enough Star Wars where you can pick and choose what you like, and that's okay.
Yeah,
you don't have to. And then you can be quite accepting of someone else that likes something that you don't. And that's okay. Someone might like eating onion in their spaghetti, and like I don't like putting onion in my spaghetti, but I'm not going to go tell someone that eats onion that they're wrong for eating onion.
Yeah,
it's just
we've got a bit of a saying in our house is don't yuck somebody's yum, and that goes through everything. Like don't yuck somebody's yum, especially like if somebody enjoys something, who are you to take that away from them? It's just it's a good way to sort of look at everything, and it's not anything to do with food or anything. It's it goes across lifestyle, or I like Star Wars, other people like Star Trek. Who's right, who's wrong? I'm right. Yeah, so it's just an opinion's just an opinion, and you're allowed to have your own, and everyone else is allowed to have their own. So don't ever feel like your opinion doesn't matter.
And my little Wi-Fi signal is just playing funny again, so it's saying it's fairly good now. It's saying it's fairly good. It's being temperamental. I've heard a couple of rumbles outside, and it's looking good again. We're good. I think we're going to get through the rest of it unscathed.
Yeah, I thought I was talking to someone in Witness Protection Program, like just all blurry and like. I know that's the Macca's drive-through.
Yeah. Sorry, the ice cream machine is broken again.
Yeah. It's terrible.
So you got two young boys. Are they both growing into Star Wars fans as they?
Yes, very much so. And it is not. I'm going to go dad mode here and go full pun. It is not forced.
Yeah.
When my eldest Logan, named after Wolverine, I don't have children named after Star Wars characters because it's just silly. I went to school with somebody named Luke Sky, and his brother was Obi-Wan, and their little sister was Leia. Their parents were big Star Wars fans. But yeah, my little guy Logan's named after Wolverine, and he started by his very first May the 4th. I just chucked on Star Wars because I was watching it, and from the get-go, he was just enthralled by it and just sat still and just watched it with laser focus. It was just,
awesome.
Unreal. My other little guy, Ash, he's into it. He's into the more physical side of it, where, he likes to, he gets dad's lightsabers and, battles his brother. And, when it comes to Christmas, what do you want for Christmas, buddy? I want a lightsaber. Okay, cool. So get him a lightsaber. But he likes the new movies, and he doesn't really like the original trilogy. So he's not my son.
You're adopted.
Yeah. No, they're both into it. One more than the other, but it's also Logan started out because when he was born, because he's 10, so he's been alive for as long as I've been in the Legion. So when I wanted to go and troop, I needed to do something in order to give my wife a break or whatnot. So I got him into the Galactic Academy, which is the 501st for anyone under the age of 18.
Awesome.
So you don't have all the political stuff to worry about. There is no, you don't have to worry about who's holding a seat in office, whatnot, who your local squad leader is or anything. You just dress up in a costume. You take your parent takes a photo of you and says, yes, he has a Imperial officer costume. And then they send them their own TK ID and a certificate and a patch and a coin. And it's really cool. And that way you get to take your kid on your troops with you. They have a bit of fun dressing up because, what kid doesn't like to dress up in costume these days?
Yeah, absolutely.
With the amount of book weeks, I swear there's like 6 book weeks a year. And each one requires a brand new costume. But yeah, like they both get into it. They're both, I think, last year for Christmas, Logan asked for a Obi-Wan costume, but it had to be Obi-Wan from Obi-Wan. It couldn't be any of the other Obi-Wans from anywhere. Prequels. It had to be the one from the Obi-Wan. And he got it, and it was fantastic. And it's just a cheap rubies thing, but he's got Kylo Ren. Like it's a once again multi-generational. It's something to have a bit of fun with, kids and adults alike. And it's one of the great things about the 501st is, you dress up in costume, you bring a smile to a kid's face, but bringing a smile to a kid's face is great, but bringing a smile to an adult's face, like when you see an adult fully like lose it because you're embodying their favorite character. I've lost count of the amount of times I've been sidelined while in Revan, and just people are like, nobody dresses up as him. And it's like, well,
yeah, they do now.
So yeah, don't. And if you are considering like costuming as Revan, anyone, don't walk 20 kilometers in that costume. It's just plain stupid. Heat stroke and dehydration. It's not a fun time.
No. I've actually been, me and my mate at work, we've actually been playing with the idea of me doing a Malik costume because I'm 6'2" and I have no hair on my head, so it would work quite well. So yeah, but for now I've got to focus on my Boba Fett or Mandalorian or whatever I decide to do. So
you're going to be a tall Boba Fett, man.
Yeah. I got to meet Tim Morrison. Back in November, and he's a short dude. He wasn't a big guy. I was expecting him to be a little bit taller and broader, but he wasn't at all. I was kind of surprised.
Such a nice guy. He is the nice guy. Like,
which that's a New Zealand trait. I've never met a New Zealand Kiwi that I haven't liked. They're all just amazing people.
We've got quite a few clone troopers in the garrison, and they all got a photo with him, and it's like dad with his kids. And it's just like, three clones either side of him, and he's just got his arms around him. He's like, oh, here's my kid. It's just like, this is great.
That's great. Yeah. It was a funny moment when I had my photo with him. I was wearing my Ahsoka Tano jersey that I got last year, and he was just like checking it out. He hadn't seen it yet, and he was looking at the back, and he's Ahsoka. He goes, oh, that series is so much better than mine. There you go.
Come on, mate.
I think he's been I think he's been pretty public about wanting a little bit more Boba. Kind of got sidelined a little bit. But,
isn't it weird that like he's the one that is slotted into the role, which he had to be slotted into the role. Like you couldn't get anyone to play Boba Fett other than Tem. And the thing was, it was always Daniel Logan was the one campaigning for like to play Boba Fett in the next installment of whatever. He was like, oh, it's fine, because I was Boba Fett, I was, and then all of a sudden, like, nah. We need someone that looks like they crawled out of a Sarlacc pit.
There's someone that looks like Dead from episode 2. Oh man. Oh, this has been really fun. I can't believe it. We got through nearly 2 hours.
Wow.
Again, I know my good friend here said there's no need for apologies, but it's not my fault. Yeah, the internet does have its way with me sometimes, and it is frustrating, but we got through it.
Well, you live in Adelaide where it's still 1992. You're going to have to deal with dial-up speeds.
Yeah. No, we're 1994 now. We're getting we have cars with electric windows now, and
you just got the Discmans that don't jump. They've got the anti-skip function.
Anti-skip, yeah. It's a game changer, big time.
Oh man, speaking of such, this is going to make a lot of us feel old, but they've actually put a Discman in a museum.
I heard that.
Yeah,
Well,
right.
that's terrible.
I've got one in my garage, and there's still a stack of CDs next to it like this.
I've still got a tub. Yeah, I've still got a tub full of CDs, and I was cleaning out my car. So when I got my car now that I got about 2018, and so when I moved all the crap out of my old car, I had a CD wallet, and I just dumped that in the glove box of my glove compartment of my car. And I haven't opened that damn thing in years. And I opened it up. I'm like, well, I've got a packet of burnt CDs that I've done, 8 years ago, like mix CDs and albums that I just be able to chuck in. I'm like, my car doesn't have a CD player. I've been carrying these CDs around for about 4 or 5 years without having a CD player in the car. And my car's from 2015 and it doesn't have a CD player. It's just USB. I'm just like, oh, wow.
The funny thing is, like within the 501st, we trade patches and whatnot. And, there's quite a big patch collecting society as such, or group rather. And one of the guys said to me, good on you, Eka. One of the guys said to me, I said, I've just got so many patches now. I just don't know, like, how the hell do I store these? And he goes, just get yourself a patch folder. I'm like, they have patch folders? And he's like, yeah. And he gets his out. And I'm like, oh, dude, that's a CD wallet. And I feel really old. He's like, a what? I'm like, yeah, we used to put our CDs in that. Like,
wow. I was waiting to hear about like an actual, like a Ultra Pro.
I thought he was going to get out like this amazing thing that it's like, you go to Officeworks and it's actually made for this specific purpose. And no, it's just a freaking CD wallet. I got like 4 of those at home, full of DVDs of like Dragon Ball Z and stuff.
Oh wow, that's hilarious. That's really funny. Oh, I appreciate you hanging out, spending a couple of times on your Sunday evening. I've been looking forward to this since we spoke about a month ago. So I've been pretty pumped up. So good fun. Yeah, we'll definitely have to catch up and chat again. That's for sure. But no, is there anything else you wanted to plug while you're on? And we'll, if anyone wants to come and follow your adventures.
501 FLASHHEART or JD Punisher Photography. The JD Punisher Photography, you're just going to get live music photos. That's all that's for, really. The occasional landscape. The 501 FLASHHEART is my Instagram handle, which that's my life.
Yeah.
It's, there's family, nerdy, cooking, whatever I choose to put up. So yeah, if you don't like it, don't follow. I don't mind.
Not easily offended, which is what we like.
Yeah. Let me say, if you are keen to join the ranks of the 501st Legion, reach out to your local garrison, join their forums, introduce yourself. We're not going to bite very hard unless you're into that. But yeah, just reach out to your local garrison, because we're all there to help one another. We all want, we want more people in costume, because everyone has a favorite character, and a lot of people don't have the same favorite character. Like you said, you could pull off a Malak really well. Like, that's one that I think there's only, as a good example, Savage, there's only 4 of us in the world that dress up as Savage. It is tedious, but with the right help, and everyone wants to pitch in and help to, paint you yellow and black. So forge friendships and be a bad guy doing good. Simple as that.
You go to the 501st website. Is it 501stlegion.com? That we
501st.com. So it's
501st.com.
Yeah, 501st.com. Don't put AU at the end of it, because that'll just take you straight to the Redbacks. And unless you're in Queensland, we're just going to push you back towards wherever you are in Australia. But 501st.com, and just hit the forums, create an account, introduce yourself, and everyone will ask you every question under the sun of who you want to costume as. And then they'll point you in the right direction as to which detachment you need to be a part of. So, yeah, really great community to be a part of.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, and they're always at local conventions, and they got all their standees. I know the Southern Dewbacks do a really good setup here in Adelaide every time. Yeah, awesome bunch of people, really, really cool guys and girls. We get a few clients coming into work that are part of the 501st, and they're always happy to talk about costumes and offering help and support to anyone that wants to do it. So it's just a good community. So
well, now I've got more people to visit down in Adelaide. Maybe I'll just rock up to your work one day dressed as Revan and just let everyone lose their minds.
Oh, people would do it. People would lose their minds. Probably us more so than anyone else.
Yeah, and then I'll just drop the hood and just be like, yeah, just short back and sides, man. Zero fades.
Yeah.
How it's going to go.
Yep. Awesome, man. Well, thank you for your time. I do appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
And that's all good. Thanks everyone for coming and hanging out in the chat. I appreciate you all sticking around despite the internet issues that I've had tonight, but it's not my fault. But it's all good. We got through it, and I guess we'll see. I've got one coming up next week. Stay tuned for that one. I'll put a post out and announce that throughout the week. But yeah, may the force be with you always.
And with you.